I really did hypnotize myself into getting over 10,000 new followers in a week. And so, first of all, I want to start off by saying, like, it's not about the vanity of, like, oh my gosh, look at my followers. Like, that's never how I look at having an audience. I love every single human being, spiritual being having a human experience who decides to join me on this ride and be a part of my communities. It's like the most magical thing ever that I get to do this. This has been a dream of mine for 10 years because when I had my chronic illness really start and I was like trying to figure out how to heal, I started watching YouTubers, and that's what really gave me the guidance on how to heal and how to even live a healthy lifestyle and how to love myself, because I didn't really know myself. I wasn't surrounded by other people who were really similar to me. And so when I found other people that lived similar lifestyles to me, I was like, oh, like it helped me see myself in another, like in a mirror. And that was when I was like, I'm going to be a YouTuber one day. And I focused really on YouTube. I created this YouTube channel 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, on October 31st, on Halloween. 2 years ago, I arrived here to Europe, and then on New Year's Eve is when I started really posting on YouTube, and I was like, we're gonna do this. Like, this is my vision. I closed my Etsy store, and I was like, I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do anymore. I really took Abraham Hicks stuff to heart, and I was like, I'm just going to focus my energy on what I want to be doing. And that has been the most beautiful experience that I've ever had, because it grew so quickly, and I was like, yes, this is for me. Yes, this is for me. And so while I've been on this journey of traveling and working through, all the stuff that has come up in my Saturn return, I have also been like digging deep on what it is that my purpose is and what it is that my mission is and like why I'm really on Earth. And that has been forming naturally as I go through the progression of learning and teaching and experiencing life and experiencing van breakdowns and experiencing heartbreak and experiencing, all the stuff that came with living on the farm in Italy, all the tragedy, all the loss, all the beautiful, all the birth, all the life experience that comes with this lifestyle. And then a few weeks ago, I really started diving into sleep hypnosis. Like I was guided to a video on sleep hypnosis, and then as I was listening to it, I was like, all my information that I had gathered over the past 10 years about the subconscious, about the brain, about not neuroscience, but neuroplasticity, and how malleable the brain is and how you can reprogram the brain and rewire the brain, and it like all kind of crashed in one moment. And I had like the wildest download. And you guys know that if you've been following my channel, that I've been in this void here in Ireland. I didn't expect to be here for 3 months now, and with the van broken down, I do actually have an answer on what's wrong with it. It's called the release bearing, I think, for the clutch is what they think it is. So I might send it back in to just have one more thing done to work on it, or I might get this car in a couple of days. We'll see. And so I've been in this void, and I've been witnessing how divinely led it is, like how weird it is that no one in Europe knows how to work on this van, and they all put in the wrong fluid and all do the wrong stuff, and it's like so special with the quick shift and semi-automatic and like this year and this French make that like just no one understands. And I was like, this isn't by coincidence. There's no coincidence. So I was put into the isolation, this beautiful isolation of being on my family farm with like 100 acres of land, of like in magical Ireland, like on our magical land with our magical castle. Like it's been tough, but it's also been really beautiful. Like, this is the most beautiful place that I could have been put in the void. So I'm very grateful to the universe. And I've been like so faithful and so knowing that there would be a moment where lightning would strike. I didn't know that it would be lightning like that, where a download would come through that would, shift me into the next timeline out of my void. And I feel that was this this download and clarity of the sleep hypnosis. And so I'll just start by saying, and I'll talk about it later too, but it's linked in my bio if you guys want to sign up. I have a sale running on it right now. I emailed a lot of you who are on my email list, but it's been like the craziest thing. So in that moment, I was like, I know exactly the frequencies that I need to put with it, and I know exactly the binaural beats. I understood that this was going to be so profound because, number one, when you're sleeping, you are in delta brainwaves. And so when you're in delta, that is when your brain is most malleable and most able to be reprogrammed. And so that's number one. Number two, when I realized like the most important part about this is that using your own voice was significant. And so I'll go into details on that. So when I was in my health journey, I started doing a treatment called Saracet and brainwave optimization, and they're kind of the same company. And so I had some success with it, not with Saracet. Saracet, I actually had like a really tragic thing happen where what seems to be and what was validated from the brainwave optimization technician was that the wrong program was run on my different areas of my brain, because I slid into like a deep depression from that. But then brainwave optimization, which is the original technology, she fixed all that, and then I had a lot of benefit from that, and then I was kind of like back to where I was before I started all of it. But I learned about so much, and it is really significant for people. Like a lot of war vets do this treatment, and it can be life-changing for them. And Sarah said brainwave optimization is not available anymore. But in that, I learned about this theory, I guess, that is proven. So you, in the treatment, you have your brain hooked up to a computer, and it's kind of like when you hook up, maybe you guys have seen, you can hook up a plant to a computer, and it can then take its frequency and make it into a sound, and then you can like listen to the music of the plants, which is really cool. I've been in Sedona before for a retreat, and like they hooked up all the plants around us, and we laid there and listened to the nature and the song, which was like beautiful. At my favorite vortex too, which was just wild because I used to live in Flagstaff, so that area is very special. So I was like, this is very special, right? Universe was like, this moment is significant for you. The fact that I was in my favorite vortex randomly years after I moved away from Arizona, listening to this frequency of the plants. And so now in hindsight, I'm like, oh shit, light bulb. And then in this treatment, so you hook up your brain to this computer, and then you listen to the frequency of your brain. And by doing that, you offer your brain the opportunity to see itself in a mirror. And when it's listening to itself, like through the mechanisms of its auditory components and all these things, it's able to see where it is out of alignment, or your brain can see. And then naturally it can correct itself, and it can fix like the different, unresolved things, the different ways that the brain waves are being spiked and out of order and whatnot, and it can balance out your brain in that treatment. And so through that theory, Arla, can you sit down, baby? Sit. Thank you. Through that theory, I was like, okay, so sleep hypnosis is important. Like you can listen to sleep hypnosis on YouTube with other people's voices and all that, and like just like general, like I am abundant, I am free, I am whatever, which I think like can be very significant and can be very helpful. But your voice, and this came from another learning that I had from like some different practitioners. I know that Almost 30, Krista, she talks a lot about, and I'm like getting all throat chakra blocked from this, but she talks about the voice. And so she talks about the frequency of the voice. And I dated a conscious musician before, and so I got to like be in that world. And a lot of them were like teaching courses and teaching people at festivals and in their retreats and stuff on how to unlock the voice and like open up like the magic that is in the own frequency of your voice. Even myself, like being on YouTube for the past 2 years, I've had people who have watched my older videos say, your voice has changed. And so that's something that happens as you heal, as you update, upgrade, all these different things. And so using your voice, I think, is very significant, because then your brain gets to hear it and recognize it and hear your specific frequency behind the things that you're programming in, and see exactly where it's out of alignment or blocking itself. And it's not just I'm abundant, I'm free, I'm like these generic things. It's what I was like, oh, I need to say the exact things that I want to be. Sorry, the dogs are starting to get rambunctious. Hold on. tried to record earlier today so they would just be calm, but I think they feel the energy of this. But anyway, so the brain being able to hear through the auditory your voice saying your specific reality, the things that you want to manifest, the actual reality that you want. And like, so with that, I think it's also important, like, you might not know exactly the reality that you want. Like, there might be something that's like in your mind telling you like, I want a big giant mansion on the beach in Malibu, but like really, you know, your heart and your soul would be happiest in a cottage in New Zealand. I don't know, you know, that kind of thing. And so it's important, I think, too, like when doing this, to not be so definite on like how your reality is going to be, unless you're like for certain and you've gone into the quantum work of like sitting with it, asking yourself like, is this truly in my heart, truly a vision from my heart? When I go into the visualization of it, does it feel like it's for me? If yes, like fully yes, then it's probably for you. If you can visualize it going to someone else, then it's probably for someone else. And so all these things that I've been talking about on my YouTube, if you've been here for a while, like, you get it. So that all came together, and then I made a frequency, I layered some things, and I put that with my voice. And that's like that. As soon as I did it, you know, the next day, randomly, my brain was like, dye your hair red. And I was already sure that I wasn't going to dye my hair red. I have never had red hair before. ChatGPT did a color analysis on me and was like, don't dye your hair red. Now that I have red hair, it's like, don't dye your hair blonde. So I don't trust it. I don't recommend it. I did for a second, but don't do color analysis through ChatGPT. And so I woke up, I was like, no, you got to do the red hair. Like, it's time for a new identity. It's time for a pattern disruptor. It's time for all this. And then since I started doing, hold on, let me take this away from, I'm going to let him have it. If you hear chewing in the background, it's his bone. It's good. I'll keep him distracted. So where were we? La 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 la. Okay. So I woke up with red hair pretty much. And then part of like what is in my vision that I'm so sure is for me, like I've talked about in the beginning, is being a YouTuber, is having platforms, is having the audience to teach what I've learned and to help as many people as possible get through what I've gone through and understand that they can create their reality, co-create their reality, and like not be so limited by the system and by the 3D and by the matrix and all these things. Like that is what I'm most passionate about. That is what I want to offer to the world. I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, I know for certain through my own inner work that that is my timeline for me, like my highest timeline. And so part of that is going viral and having, not going viral, not in like that sense. It's like, I think some people chase like going viral as if they would like chase like gambling or chase like betting on racehorses and kind of things like that. But rather having like high performing, high quality, high value content, that is like more what's in my hypnosis. And since listening to that, you know, I've had the most viral week ever in the past week. And on TikTok, like I have a video right now that's almost at 600,000, I think, and I've never had that on TikTok before. When I first got to Ireland, I had 200 followers on TikTok, and now it's 10,000 something. And my Instagram has grown significantly as well. And I think it was at 9,000 like a week ago, and now it's nearly at 16,000. And so I haven't really changed my output. I've just changed my energy. I've just started listening to the sleep hypnosis. And I can say like very confidently, like it's really profound shit. Like it's really, really, really powerful. And I'm like, holy crap, like this is that lightning moment of why I was brought into the void, why I was, you know, brought here to Ireland to be in my dad calls me an Irish monk because I'm kind of like an Irish monk out here right now. Like it's beautiful. And so I've had all this space for that moment to come through, and I feel like that's what this is. And I feel like this is just the beginning, and this program is just the beginning. Like I can already see where I'm going to take this. But if you are ready, like if you're really ready for significant change and to like feel different, like a part of it, it's not an identity crisis, because I don't feel in an identity crisis at all. I thought that I would with red hair, but really I feel more me than I ever have in my entire life. However, I also feel like an alien in my reality. Like my energy is different, the way that I'm carrying myself is different, and my reality is catching up quickly, but it's still catching up. And like the doors are opening at the speed that they can, but yeah, that's part of it. It's like kind of like feeling like a foreigner and having, plans change and opportunities change. Arla, you're knocking over the camera. Please don't do that. And so I've received, it's funny because is another thing, like technology stopped working and has like had a lot of glitchy issues. I've recorded a video similar to this the other day, but the files just didn't open and they wouldn't open, and so I lost that video. I was like, okay, well maybe it's never meant to be. And then this morning, after I launched my sleep hypnosis with the new price, I woke up to a bunch of sales, but then when I tried to load the page, it wouldn't load and I couldn't log into my course platform, and I was like, oh shit, like what is this? I sat in the chair with my coffee and I did this thing that I always do, because it always happens like this. Whenever I'm going through a major energy shift, technology around me stops working. You guys probably have that yourself. And so I remember when I was going through a major shift before, like I walked up to a cash register one time and like the alarm started going off, and then like it was things like that all days. I think I set off 2 or 3 alarms in that day. Like my phone stopped working, my phone like glitched and like wouldn't turn back on. And so it was kind of like that this morning. I couldn't log into my course stuff, and then also even just checking on Instagram, I was like on the page of my notifications, but like buttons kept being pressed, and I was like, is there like a hijacker from another like country in my phone and my technology? But I did on my computer as the same thing. So then I sat down and I said, I choose and I command that my technology works perfectly as I go through these energy shifts. Thank you, and so it is. That was that. I went and loaded my stuff, all normal, loaded again. And so that's part of it, is the energy shifts, that the technology shifts that will be happening. So the other thing is like redirection as well. And even though I'm like in the void right now, I'm making my exit plan, right? And that keeps shifting too as my energy is shifting. And so some things came up on the farm in Italy where I was like, oh, maybe it's not the best timing for me to go there right now. Someone messaged me out of the blue, something that was like, I felt like you needed, someone I don't know, I felt like you needed to see this. And it was like a funny, cute video of farm life. And it was like a donkey running around with a goat in the mouth and like all this chaos, pretty much. You guys know, a lot of you know, like it is chaos there. It's a lot of chaos. And like, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like a healing portal of intensity, but at the same time, it's a healing portal of intensity. And I'm moving towards a timeline of peace, especially after being an Irish monk. I'm ready for, more peace, like peace in a home. That's the other part, is that I'm craving a home now out of nowhere, but like peace in a place that I love, surrounded by community, not like so isolated, but also not in chaos. And like I can dip into the chaos places, but not have to be immersed in it. And so a lot has been shifting about where I'm headed next and what I'm going to do next. And I don't know exactly the plan yet. And so that's the part of surrender. Like there's a part of like, we're co-creating, we're deciding on our reality, but you also then have to like move with reality and see where you're being guided, what messengers come into your life, and what doors open, what doors are meant for you, what doors are not meant for you. And I really feel that like as I continue to listen to my sleep hypnosis, like it's happening so quickly. And it's kind of tricky because like not a lot of people in my life, like in my family at least, really get this stuff. I mean, they kind of do. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because all the beasts are awakening. Even the farm dogs are starting to go off. But yeah, I was saying that like the people in my life who, who I speak to, I don't think that anyone really could understand like this rate of change that I'm trusting and surrendering to, because they'll be like, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? And then I'll be like, yeah, I'm going back to Italy to the farm. And then the next day, they're like, what's your plan? What's your plan? I'm gonna maybe stay here for a little bit longer. And what's your plan? And so it's like they, it makes them almost panicked because they're not in the place that I'm in where I'm like surrendering to and trusting this process. And like, I feel like very centered and guided, or like centered in that whole experience. And so the people around you, as you change, will probably be freaking out because they don't want you to change. And it triggers a lot of parts in other people when you do change for many reasons. Like they, you know, the light in you will trigger the shadows in them. They want you to stay small because they don't want you to, you know, abandon them and grow bigger than them, or they don't want you to be bigger than them because they don't actually, you know, support other people being bigger than them and having more success than them or whatever, because they are too afraid of success themselves. Like there's all these different things about that. And like people maybe really care about you and they're too afraid of you like walking into the unknown, and so they try and keep you back in the old. Like I just got off the phone with someone in my family who yesterday who was saying that I should just quit what I'm doing and quit being online and quit making courses and just, you know, go get a job in marketing. And I was like, why would I ever do that? I was just like telling him about all the growth that I've had and all the success that I've had. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And so I took the energy of that doubt that was reflected on me, probably from my own subconscious through him. And I took that charge. No, you stay there. Obsessed with hearing the noise of the gate because they think that the farm manager is here with treats. I'm trying to work on that and not let them get treats by the gate anymore because they're actually becoming insane about it. And I work really hard on training my dogs because they're world travelers. But I took the charge of that doubt and I channeled it into something else, and I, you know, used that energy. I've been trying to celebrate the Sabbath almost, not really, but like just on Sundays I'm trying not to work, not to use my phone. I haven't successfully done it so far. I turned off my phone last week to work on my van and like ChatGPT and how to fix my van and all these things. But anyway, I used the charge of that and I was like, actually, like I feel very motivated. Like a part of me was like, I feel motivated, like, kind of to prove him wrong, but also I feel like that's my guidance. And also I feel like I can use this energy to create something better than the doubt, and I can shift it into something that is abundance and something that is more in alignment with my vision that I have for myself. And so I sent out an email to a lot of you guys. I posted a story on Instagram. I decided to launch the sale of the program, of the sleep hypnosis program, because I had a comment from a single mom who was from Ireland, and I was like, look at that divinity. And she was like, I can't afford this, but I would really want to. Can you make something, like make it more affordable for people so that everyone can rise? And I was like, hell yeah. Like, of course, that's exactly what I would want if I was a single mom or when I was in my chronic illness and like all the stuff. And so I want this available to as many people. So I thought about that, used that charge, made the sale, made the story, made the email, and like it's been blowing up. My phone's been going off all day with sales, and it's been so beautiful to see how powerful we truly are when we decide, you know, where we allow energy to work in our life, when we decide that we can rewrite our reality, and when we decide that, you know, we can really move through the subconscious blocks. And I think that this exact technique of the sleep hypnosis allows yourself to see exactly where those blocks are. I told you guys in a few videos, like my number one block that came up 3 different times in 3 different dreams was that other people get to live my dreams and I don't. I had 3 different people in 3 different dreams saying to me how they are living my dream life. And I was just like, like in those dreams. And so I was like, that's the block. So I did my nervous system regulation. I did my like journaling and everything through that. And now I've been having dreams of me stating my dream life as my own, and me being in my power, and me like, you know, being in more of that energy. And then, you know, flying away from my ex, when the first thing that I had of him was me trying to turn off the hypnosis so that I could be small, so that I could be loved. So I had a belief that I had to be small to be loved. And when I worked through that, I had the dream of flying away from him when he was like, no, come back for me, save me. And I was like, no. And I took Arlo and my animal family and I flew to a place where my magic was safe. So it's magical, magical stuff. If you guys want to join me in my sleep hypnosis program, I have it linked below. I love you so much. I am so grateful, so beyond grateful for every single one of you who chooses to subscribe and be here with me and watch these videos, and who also, you know, gets something from this, because that is exactly the mission that I wish to, you know, beyond the purpose and the influence and the impact that I wish to have in the world, is to help you guys remember how powerful you are and how you can live the life of your dreams, and you can heal, and you can be abundant, and you can have the love that you desire and the freedom that you desire. Whatever you desire from your heart is available to you within the quantum field. It's just a matter of you choosing it and working towards getting there by moving through the conditionings and the blocks. So I will leave you with that. I will see you in the next video. Bye.